All right, we'll move on to reports and communications, beginning with Councilmember Cardoza.
Okay. It was a fairly quiet 2 weeks. For chamber events, there was none. We had an ambassadors meeting, which I wasn't able to attend due to a closed session meeting here at the city. For meetings, I attended the Community Memorial Museum Association meeting, which I'm on the board. Had a pretty good meeting moving forward, going through all this. We're planning on getting the museum opened up as soon as we're allowed to, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Hope Dr. Liu will let us do that. And we are planning for the reopening of the museum and also events in the future. I listened in on the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Agency meeting. So I was able to just be there, listen what all the good things is going on with that, and I'll let my fellow council members that were on that board speak about that. For community and city events, wanted to thank our Parks and Recreation Department. We did our last playful pickup at the Gap on May 8th. We passed out goodie bags for the kids to have things to do, being that there isn't much going on now. So that was a fun thing for the kids to do. We had quite a few folks show up, and we had to say, sorry, but this was our last one. Hopefully we can do that again in the future. I was asked and called, and I volunteered to help out at the Yuba City Food Bank. I helped pack 500 food bags, or make up 500 food bags to be distributed, handed out to the community the next day. So that was, meeting more folks at the food bank and getting things done. It's quite the experience, putting minimal things in a bag and making sure that they're passed out to the community. And then also I got a couple of special thank yous. First, I'd like to thank the Beale Air Force 9th Reconnaissance Wing for doing the flyover our community, supporting our first responders and our healthcare workers to fight against the COVID-19. And also I'd like to thank Councilmember Shaw, the Yuba City Racquet Club, and Chief Alexander and his wife, Bryn, for the mass giveaway Saturday. They also had a wonderful turnout, and donations went to the food bank, so it was a win-win for everything, and Councilmember Shaw passed out over 3,000 masks. So that was a great turnout there and a great fun time for our community to be. And then my last announcement is I'd like to let everybody know that tomorrow night at our Sutter County Museum, which is right across the street here, we are having our first certified farmers market. It'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. Directly behind in the park, directly behind the museum. You could park in the parking lot at the museum and also in the back. And that's going to be from every Wednesday from 4 to 7 through September. And other than that, that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Espindola.
Thank you, Councilman Cardoza. You were that was a slow week for you? That was pretty long of a list of items. You covered a lot. I'll begin to thank you too, Councilman Shaw, for your generous idea of handing out masks and our fire chief and his family and the Racquet Club. That's, it's tough for everyone to wear a mask. I mean, let's be truthful. I'm not a big proponent of having to wear a mask, but I do it, as my friends behind me said, is not to protect myself only, but it's to protect you. And it's tough to wear these masks, but they are effective. And this was a nice little gift. And I've received several under, I think they're only $1, so it's not a big gift to report, but I've gotten a few of those. So thank you so much for sharing and the good health of that. There's a couple of meetings that I went to and virtually participated or a conference called in. And the first was the mayor and I were, and I just learned that Councilman Cardoza was there too with the Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency. A lot of good information, a lot of different activities completed. Mainly it was budget development, so I don't know, Mayor, if you're going to add something to that. So the next meeting is going to be June 10th, and we approved the budget to be the proposed budget for review for June 10th. There is a little bit of challenges possibly financially there too, but we're still exploring that. The other was the Regional Water Authority, and I have not been to one of these meetings physically yet. I was online with our interim city manager, Diana, and Diana is well known across the state for her work and how an expert she is in this area. I am a novice. I know where the water comes from generally and how we work it here in the city through our water treatments and just opening the faucet. I prefer water right out of the faucet. But one of the things that they also reviewed was budgets. I guess it's just the time of the year, right? Here at the city, we're talking about budgets as well. They're talking about the Regional Water Authority budget. And so I learned that the city, us as a city, are members of the Regional Water Authority. We pay membership, and that gives us a seat to be one of the board of directors. And I believe, Councilman Shaw, were you there last go around? Okay. And so they were discussing to increase the membership dues. There was a greater amount, I guess, prior to COVID-19 was being considered, like 18% increase. And now with COVID-19, they're softening that amount to maybe about 5% increase. But I don't know if it's a final, anything to add? Diana, no. So we're still, that's in the process as well. Very interesting, the larger scope of how many participants and members. And so I look forward to reporting more on our activities. But as I am learning about this, it's clear that there's good purpose to being a member. We receive, as a city, we qualify for bulk purchasing of different other items that otherwise for our treatments and all the other things would cost us a lot more if we were not part of that Regional Water Authority. So any questions, gentlemen, or thoughts, or Councilman Shaw, that I should, you were there before I was, anything I should be aware, or did I miss something?
You did great, because the first thing you said was our interim city manager is very well respected through the state, and she represents us very well, so it makes our job as electeds nice and easy. So you nailed it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sir?
Guess that would be me, sir.
You?
All right. Thank you to both of my fellow council members. The last 2 weeks has been a lot of taking care of the community. Not many things going on as far as meetings because of where we're all at. But first, Chief Alexander, you and your wife, Bren, thank you guys for stepping up. I want to speak more to the community tonight than anything because, the last couple of weeks have been very, very challenging. And so a lot of our time has been being there to support our businesses as they try to reopen and support our residents as they try to figure out what reopening is going to look like. And that's where special people in community step up. And Chief, I'm just going to spotlight you and your family because when we started that little project, kind of a harebrained idea because people needed them, and I will never forget you walking in going, we want to be a part of this. And I know you don't go for the public accolades, but since it's been brought up, I just want to say thank you to you and your wife. And because you've only been with us 4 months and you care enough about this community to say, we want to be there and support it. So kudos to you guys and thank you. On that, I would say thanks to my staff and the Racket Club that was there as well. It was a great day, but more focused on what's going on in the community. Just want to say thanks to our businesses. They have gone above and beyond in the last 2 weeks. If you go into any of the restaurants, go into any of the businesses, our local shops are really taking this mandate that was handed to them to meet the standards to an incredible level. I heard one story that they went into one of the restaurants and they were down steam cleaning underneath the tables and such, going to that extra degree to make sure that we do this right. And so to all of our business owners, I just simply want to say thank you, because you're doing your part. And to our residents, simply put, we're not going to do things and be scared into doing things, meaning we're scared of the pandemic or other things. We're doing this in a safe fashion, in an orderly fashion, and I just want to thank everybody that's been involved guiding that path. And thank you to the residents for doing the small things like these masks that we have. Everybody's little part helps. And if you need to stay home, stay home. If you feel safe going out and working and you're able to, go out and work. We all got to do this together. We will get through it together. And so tonight, my message is just simply 2 words. Thank you.
And thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As far as council actions, fair amount of closed sessions. I think we meet more in closed session to discuss budget and COVID-19 than probably any other council that I can ever remember at least being involved with. So to the staff that guides us and provides us with information during those meetings, especially since many of them are pretty fresh on the scene, I extend my thanks. Also to each one of you that sit up here. It's the kind of work that we volunteered for, and I don't think any of us thought COVID-19 would come up on the horizon. But here we are, and I think we're dealing with it very, very strategically and very methodically. The budget itself is a big looming issue. It's going to be a challenge, but I feel comfortable that with staff and with this group of council folks that I work with, we'll plow through it, and we'll continue to provide the services to the citizens of Yuba City to the best of our ability. My meetings as representing the council, LAFCO, was last week. A couple things that involve the city that are coming up on LAFCO's agenda are expansion of the sphere of influence. That's going to be taken up in July. That's a big deal for this city. It paves the way for potential for some future growth. In conjunction with that, we still continue to work with the county on the master tax exchange agreement. There was some headway made over the last few weeks. I think as we inch more towards normal activity, things like the master tax exchange agreement, development impact fee committees, and things that we've been involved with will again rise up towards the top of the stack to get done. At the chamber this morning, they had a government affairs committee meeting. It was encouraging to hear, again, a lot of the work that the chamber's doing on behalf of our businesses with different workshops on how to deal with the Paycheck Protection Program and some of the things that our small businesses are going to need to navigate through some pretty challenging times ahead in regards to not only dealing with the grants or the loans that they've got, but just continuing with their business. 2 weeks ago, we left this meeting with a little bit of a spring in our step because our bi-county public health doctor, Dr. Liu, the previous Friday had released an order that granted our small businesses and local businesses the opportunity to open up their business, which was important to them not only financially but psychologically. As we left the meeting, it became clear that the state was not pleased with that and had begun various enforcement efforts specifically targeted at those businesses that hold state licenses. Over the next 2 weeks, a lot of effort behind the scenes from Assemblyman Gallagher, Senator Nielsen, both county boards, Robert Bendorf, County Administrator, Steve Smith, County Administrator, and I know Diana had our city manager was also involved in that. The result was for the restaurants, the ability to open up, and as Councilman Shaw just mentioned, making all kinds of efforts to maintain sanitation and protect their customers. We're still struggling a bit with the barbers and the salons, et cetera. But hopefully there's some light at the end of that tunnel. At least it sounds like there is. But I just want to extend my thanks not only to the staff, as everyone else has, but specifically to those folks that really carried the load. Not that any of us didn't, but these folks, Robert Bendorf, Steve Smith, and Dr. Liu were on the forefront, pulling levers, making contacts, and doing things to get this city at least on the march back towards opening up. And a special thanks, and I know he's getting it from other jurisdictions as well, is for Assemblyman Gallagher, because he personally took some efforts on behalf of businesses that are located within our city with some of the enforcement efforts. And that's not the kind of attention sometimes you get from an assemblyman. Very impressed. With that, that'll conclude my comments, and I thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'll just kind of pick up where you left off, and while we're on that topic, again, yes, Robert Bendorf, Dr. Liu, Steve Smith have really stepped up, and a lot of after-hours phone calls, same thing with our city manager, Diana Langley, doing the same thing, working. This crisis doesn't know weekends or after 5 p.m. or anything. And I look out here at these faces, everyone has done a significant effort, and this is all new to all of us, but we're adapting, we're moving forward, and we have the right attitude. And I think that is huge, is to have the right attitude and do the right thing for the right reasons as we get through this. But yes, and Assemblyman Gallagher, not only he specifically went to bat for local businesses here, but he took some risk in doing so. And we appreciate that. And that comes with leadership, is taking a stand and doing the right thing, no matter what may come of it later, as long as you stand by your principles. And he's definitely demonstrated that. And Chief, while you're here, thank you for participating in some of those phone calls with ABC as well. I'm sure the businesses really appreciated it. On the note of thank yous, it's an honor to thank Councilmember Shaw and Chief Alexander for the efforts for the mass for the community. Purely just out of the goodness of your hearts, and those who helped you to provide for the safety and the well-being of our community, and I thank you for that. So thank you, much appreciated. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention Peace Officers Memorial Week that we weren't able to participate in this year because of COVID-19. That's very sad. However, efforts were made appropriate and with the right adaptations due to COVID-19 to recognize those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in the name of the safety of our community and our state, not only this last year, but in perpetuity backwards. And one more name is too many, but it's a big deal to go to work and not know if you're going to come back. And so to recognize those folks is important. So I would like to do so by mentioning that in their memory. As Vice Mayor mentioned, basically daily budget planning, even if not a meeting, but mentally preparing. We don't know exactly what's coming down the pike at us. However, we know it's going to be challenging. We will work through that, but it's definitely taken up a lot of our time around the clock, discussions and planning and what-ifing a lot of scenarios. As time goes on, we're getting a little sneak preview of how things might be looking. We're running certain numbers and certain scenarios and trying to come up with a plan to do that. And we are having my phone is dead, but we have a budget session coming up soon. We'll be able to bring that out to the public. Next Tuesday. Thank you. Looking forward to that. As far as my meetings go, like everybody else, things have been kind of all surrounding COVID-19 and have been virtual. SACOG down there in Sacramento, very important that we are part of that. And thank you for the summary that were put together. I really appreciate that, Diana. I'm on the transportation subcommittee as well. The big topic now, and we have another meeting on Thursday, is the funding rounds and the formula and how they determine Yuba City's piece of a multi-million-dollar pie. And not necessarily Yuba City, but all cities, part of the jurisdictions. And there's different schools of thought, and we're going to be voting and deciding upon that, whether we do it population-based or project-based. it's interesting, and hopefully we'll get to chat more about that before I vote on Thursday. But that's the biggest thing there is a lot of research doing which way is the right way to go. I can understand both sides. For example, if you do population-based, you get a certain, SACOG, say it gets $250 million, and you get your slice of that for project based on your population. So with standard reason, the more population you have, the more money you're going to get, which would be a bummer for things like Fifth Street bridges, because it's going to take a long time to get that kind of money that we got from SACOG for something like that. However, on the other side, you have the ability to count on the money you're going to get, and so you can plan your projects accordingly. And also, when you put your package together to apply for the money, you can go with the projects that you prioritize versus the project that might be look a little more attractive in writing to the judges down south. So, again, both sides, more discussion needs to occur to see where we're going to go, but that's been a big thing on the forefront lately in my SACOG world. Let's see here. Councilwoman Espandola had an idea for a video regarding COVID-19 and our emergence from it and things, and kind of a unity message for our city. So I had my opportunity to film a few short scenes with George Barlow. He's doing a really good job, or at least appears so. I can't wait to see the final product. I didn't realize he had a drone and the whole bit, so he's pretty squared away and equipped guy. So we're all participating in something like that. And then other than that, I've just been being a homeschool to a 10-year-old, and that's a thrill a minute. So once again, a lot of appreciation for the single parents out there and our teachers. So other than that, I think we have a new record, 58 minutes. I thank you all very much. I thank all those who have joined us in virtual land and TV for participating. Maybe kind of wish you would have said something, but I understand, that's okay. And we'll catch up with you. Other than that, everybody please stay safe and have a great evening. I'm going to stand recessed.